Michelle with Treecat here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this, catching this Treecat chat. Hope you guys are doing well today. Do you like my new lighting in my background? Sort of trying to get a little bit cuter with the ambiance. I have a lot to talk about today. There's so much to discuss. Wow. In the world of e-commerce. Actually, I'm going to turn this light off. There we go. That was just a test. I want to talk about a few things today. One is how I create stock photos. I also want to kind of like get into some of the ethics behind that and some of the risks that might be happening when you do create your own stock photos using AI. I also want to show you some tips and tricks on if you're going to do change your photos up, because eBay does not allow you to mix new photos with old photos. So if you're wanting to go and update some of your photos, do it through Treecat, because that's how you can do it. I have not had any success in an existing listing changing old photos and mixing new photos in there. So, but you can do that with Treecat, and I'll show you how to do that using our update feature. And then I just want to kind of show you a quick tutorial on how to reset, if you are doing auto delist relist, how to reset that to 0 to pause it if you want to pause it right now during these times when we don't know what's going on with Poshmark. Or if you want to pause you can pause your Poshmark sharing. I don't know that Poshmark sharing will necessarily be affected with Poshmark's new changes, but if you wanted to pause your Poshmark sharing, you could do that, and I'll show you how. So with that being said, let's just get into it. So stock photos. Now, you guys know that I am big on productivity. I use a lot of productivity tools that are associated with AI. And frankly, I think a lot of us do. We might not even know it. Anytime we're taking a photo using our cell phone, there's multiple cameras, and the software that's in your cell phone is working behind the scenes to optimize your photos better than a regular camera, honestly. And they're able to make the background that's blurry or make it unblurry, or they're able to sharpen it, and they do things behind the scenes and you don't even know it. You just know that your pictures look amazing, right? And as a photographer, I've had jobs taken away from me with an intern with a cell phone, because the cell phone photos are so good nowadays that and they're using tools like AI behind the scenes. So what I'm saying is there's just a lot of things that we're doing with AI, but I think we need to talk about some of the risks, some of the concerns there. I think that and I think that INADs would be my biggest concern. So what have I been doing? Let's see. Here we go. So I've been using Grok and also ChatGPT 4.0, and so you can, let's see, how many do you get for free with Grok? I do 10 free images every 2 hours, or up to 120 free images per day. So, and I've actually been really impressed with Grok. It's pretty fast. I don't know if it's because everyone's kind of using ChatGPT right now. ChatGPT 4.0, which came out maybe like a few weeks ago, excuse me, and the image generation capacity is really amazing, right? And you guys have probably seen everybody creating these little action figures of themselves using ChatGPT. So they've gotten a lot of attention because of that. And so then I thought, well, what if I made my photos a little bit better using ChatGPT? So and with ChatGPT, I actually, it was a lot slower for the free version. So the free version of ChatGPT 4.0 gives you 3 free per day, but it was giving me more than that. It was giving me like 7 free per day. But the problem is that so many people are using it that during peak times, it takes a long time. So then that's where I switch over to. So I'm trying the paid version. It's like $20 a month, and you get, you get like 200 a day or something. It's the value is great, but Grok is free, and I've been having pretty good results with Grok. So I tried it with dresses, and I tried it with bathing suits, and I tried it with bras. Okay. And, basically I came up with a prompt that I upload an image, right? So I attach my image. This is my image that I attached, that I took on a mannequin. And I told Grok, please automatically overlay, align, and blend using AI-powered tools. No effort on my end. Please create a stock photo-like image with my photo. I want the result to look natural or professional, like the photo was part of the original scene. Please put the photo on a beautiful standard size model with the body type medium, who is 5'11", tall, light brown hair, striking blue eyes, photorealistic with white background. I also told it that I want a soft focus portrait that captures a standard sized woman in her late 20s or 30s with a warm expression, natural features, posing in a well fitted, and this is where I put in my title, intro women's t-shirt dress, midi, in a muted pinkish coral, ribbed, short sleeve, size medium dress, right? And then I said, put it against a plain white backdrop. Her makeup is minimal, highlighting her smooth, glowing complexion. The photo emphasizes her upright posture, gentle smile, and the key features, which I put in short sleeved, rounded neckline, midi length with a balanced neutral composition. This is for an eBay listing. And so this is what it came up with. And this is the photo that I attached, although it doesn't show it right now because I did this like yesterday. I've only been playing around with this like for a couple days, but this was I should probably make this bigger. This was the image that it came up with. And you can kind of tell that it's and it's an AI generated image, right? But it's pretty good. So how am I using this? Well, I am not going to put it as my main photo. Okay. My main photo, here's the thing is I want to be transparent to my users, and I want to make sure that the main photo is as accurate as possible, because I don't want INADs. If you're not familiar with what INADs are, let me head on over to eBay. This is their INAD policy, and it's their item. INAD stands for item not as described. And you don't want to get too many INADs because it will affect your seller performance, right? Item not as described means someone can claim that your item came to them looking very differently from the photos you presented or from the description you presented or what have you. So if you're using AI for your descriptions, if you're using AI for your photos, you are going to want to be as transparent as possible. So that's why I personally am not going to be using this to have it as my main photo. I'm just not. I'm actually in the process of moving away from like stock photos, right? I want to use my own photos. I think my own photos are great. And I think I do a pretty good job, if I don't say so myself. But I do want to show the item as to how it will look on a model. So this right here is an AI model. And I don't know, I generated this using Grok. And I just basically take my same prompt, and the only thing that I change are the title, the information in the title, and the information in the description. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm not using any of the stock photos anymore. And the cool thing about it is that if you use Treecat to, oh boy, there we go. If you use Treecat to do, put in new photos, it will allow you to add a new photo and combine it with your older photos and then upload that to your platforms. So I should probably just give a demo of how I do that. So now you see how my prompt works. Now, you do have to be careful because sometimes it doesn't get it right. So I'll show you. It wouldn't get this one right. I don't know why, but yeah. So I did it with this dress. It's same prompt. And it gave me, I think this is a pretty good photo, but I'm not like this one I wouldn't use because it looks like there's someone hiding behind it. And I think that looks pretty good, but look at this one. This one messed up. This is Grok. And I could have probably gone back and iterated on this, but I said it ties behind her neck, and that's what it put. But with ChatGPT, I did the same photo, I did the same prompt, and then it gave me, a pretty good photo, stock photo. And I think the color matches pretty well. However, like if you compare this photo with this photo, sometimes with reds and pinks, it can get challenging. So then I made some iterations and I put in different hex colors. You can go to, I don't know if you know this, but you can go to Google and say, give me the hex code color for like a dark pink, dark hot pink. What did I call this? Dark hot pink. dark pink hue, dark hot pink hue. And so it gave me some different variations, but I didn't think that they looked enough. Maybe this one, I didn't think they looked enough like the original. So I just went with the original one and I lightened it up. So, so yeah, interesting stuff, right? I think Chat GPT 4.0 has a little bit more optimized optimization for doing these photos, for putting items on a model, as opposed to Grok. Grok is, I'm using 3.0, but gosh, it still did a lot of other good things for me, and it's free, right? I played around with it, and it did some really good, I got some really good photos using Grok. So completely free, and I'm sure it'll just keep getting better and better. And if you want my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if, like eBay started implementing this into their magical stuff that they're doing with like they have the photo editing that you can take out the white background. It's really slick, actually. I do that on my phone. I actually I start my listings on eBay, and then I'm able to take out a lot of touch points just by basically taking a draft or a self similar of my own stuff, changing it slightly, and then going on my phone, taking the photos and taking out the white background on my phone, and then launching it from there. And then, of course, I pull it into Treecat, or it gets pulled into Treecat, and Treecat then allows me to cross list it and do all kinds of automations with it and so forth. So, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the concerns about doing this kind of thing. Like I said, I really this is how I'm doing. I'm not making any recommendations, but what I'm telling you is how I'm doing it. I am not using it as my main photo. And maybe I would even actually be more inclined to put it in at the end, so people just have like a reference point. Well, this is kind of what it looks like, but I want to make sure that people see the actual bra, and not like the perfect visualization of what it would look like on a person. But it's good to have that as part of the experience, right? As part of the user experience. And I also think that I'm going to make an edit to make sure that in my description, photo number, I'm going to say photo number 6 was, I spelled number wrong. Oops. Number 6 was created via AI. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to save the changes, and then I'm going to use this update to update it onto eBay. So anytime you use the update feature on Treecat, it's pushing whatever changes you made from Treecat onto your platform, right? Whereas a sync is completely different. A sync, you're telling it, I want to take whatever changes I just made in eBay, or if it's a new listing, and I want to pull that into Treecat. So that's the difference. Somebody had asked me that this last week. And so the cool thing about the update feature is that if I want to make changes to my photos in eBay, if I want to put a new photo in with existing photos, you can do that. And you can't do that on eBay. If you have like an older listing with older photos, it's not going to let you add one new photo in there. So do it this way. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I did want to get back to talking about some of the issues, because I have some. Let me tell you, I like using AI, right? I use it for my product descriptions. I'm using it for my photo editing. I'm using it for research, market research, hashtags research, all kinds of research, right? Helping it with my like editing. If I'm trying to write something I don't want to have spelling errors, I run it through AI to tell it to fix the syntax and the grammar and all that stuff. And so there's a lot of, I take out the white background with AI. I'm doing a lot of stuff with AI, and my point is, this particular thing that I'm doing with AI here, there's no like industry standard, so we just have to use our sort of common sense, right? So if I look at eBay and I ask what are their photo requirements, they don't really tell you what you're supposed to do or what the best practices are with regards to using an AI generated stock photo. So we just have to use our best common sense and realize that the risks would be that we could get INADs, which could affect, our seller performance, could affect how much we end up paying, right? Because if you have so many defects, eBay makes you pay more. So, you want to be transparent with your user, and that's why I am going to be. If I go back to here, I am going to be putting that information in my description, and I'm also going to put it in my Treecat notes so that if and when the platforms come out and say you cannot use any AI, model stock pretend AI stock photos in your listings, then all I have to do is go to my Treecat and go to my inventory and put in AI photo, and it will pull up all the things that I have AI photos of because I put it. It's now a searchable term within Treecat, and then I can go and say, okay, I'm going to fix those, right? I'm going to take those AI photos out if that's what it comes to. But we don't know where eBay, where these platforms are going with us. We just know that we have the ability to do this. We have the ability to make these stock photos using our photos that we took with our camera, and then they blend it together on an AI generated model, and you can see it and it gives it kind of a a 3D sort of a look and feel. So I do have, like I said, I do have some like AI haters, right, in my household. I think people that are in their early 20s, they are very, at least my kids and their friends, very anti AI, and they think this is just terrible. So that's why it gives me a little bit of pause. Like I see AI as providing me with all these amazing productivity tools, and I think they're amazing for small business because they enable small businesses to do all these things that they enable small businesses the ability to compete really with bigger businesses. And I think about all the things that I'm using AI for. So with my reselling, right, listing, I used to hire somebody to do my listing for me. I used to hire somebody to do my cross listing for me, my Poshmark showing, and my photography. I'm doing all that now, and I use productivity tools to help me with that. So I'm saving time, I'm saving money, I'm more productive. And like I said, I use productivity tools in my photo editing, thanks to eBay and their white background remover. All my marketing, my communications, and my promotions are done via productivity tools in eBay. Thank you, eBay, for that. And in the span of 7 years that I've been doing reselling, my productivity has increased to the point to where this is such a my reselling is like now kind of a turnkey thing, and I was able to start this other business, which is Treecat. And then now I'm in this small business, right? I have Treecat, which helps small businesses, empowers small business resellers so they can have a lot more productivity. I'm noticing that with Treecat, in my job at Treecat, I'm using productivity tools for marketing. I'm using productivity tools for communications, graphic design, video editing, sound and music design. Like the little intro and outro that you hear on my videos, that was done using an AI tool. A lot of my graphic design stuff I get help, using an AI tool on Canva. What else? I've never been a product developer or a product tester or a social media person, but guess what? I use productivity tools to be able to compete with bigger companies, right? I'm a small startup company, and without these productivity tools, like I'd have to hire a graphic designer. I'd have to hire, somebody to help with my social media, to help me with my product testing. I product test, I'm a product tester now, but so I'm also looking into ways to use productivity tools for my customer service with Treecat. So I just think productivity is absolutely crucial for small business. And so, I tell my 20-year-olds this, and they say, but it's not good for entry-level people, because entry-level people going out into the job market, graduating from college, they don't have sort of the perspective of someone who's managed, run operations, understood the organization, right? So, but maybe older people like us, we do have that perspective. And so we feel comfortable being, kind of generalists, and what do they say? The master of nothing, a jack of all trades, master of nothing, because we realize what has to happen in an organization, and we can use productivity tools or what have you to make those things happen. So, I guess it's the perspective of how you look. Are you looking at it as a business owner, a small business owner, and how you are able to achieve these amazing milestones by yourself, essentially? Or are you looking at it as someone who's been maybe displaced from their job? And I used to do photography and was basically displaced, essentially, kind of. So I don't do it full time anymore. So yeah, there's some ethical concerns. I was also told that there's maybe some ethical concerns regarding the environment because the processing power that it takes for AI. It's not like, but then I was thinking, well, it's not exactly like it's a crypto. Crypto, obviously, there's a huge impact on the environment with the amount of cooling that they have to do. But then I was told, oh, well, with AI, it's kind of similar. There's some cooling that's required for all the processing power that it takes to generate, all these images. So, the balancing act. I want to know your thoughts. Okay, so are you guys using this tool? What do you think about AI generated stock photos? Do you feel like it's just completely unethical? Are you going to try it out? Since you can do it, there's ways to do it absolutely for free. How do you feel about this? I want to know what the Treecat community feels about this. I really am really curious because I get varying feedback from people in my community, friends, family, and things like that. And I'm curious to know, is this something that you would want us to add into Treecat, like like a stock photo generator? Let me know. I'm very, very curious. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on to some more. Let's see, what other things that I want to talk about? It's just such an exciting time that we're living in. It's just amazing. But ethical concerns come into play, and it helps with decision making to know where people stand on these things. It's a little scary, but at the same time, it's like, look how much I've been able to accomplish by using these productivity tools in my life. And like I said, a lot of us don't even realize that we're using these productivity tools, but they are integrated into things that we are using every day, like cell phones, right? So interesting stuff. I want to definitely keep learning. If you guys have any like tips about like industry standards that maybe I'm not aware of, but I couldn't really find much in terms of best practice. I'm just basically using my best, kind of common sense and understanding the risk versus the reward here. And I know that I don't want multiple INADs, so I'm going to be as transparent as possible. And, I've only been playing around with this for a couple days. This is brand new. So like, if you have strong opinions, if you want to offer, your suggestions, put them down in the comments, because I really do want to hear what you think about stock photos for our eBay and our Poshmark and Mercari. Okay. So I told you about how to update your photos in Treecat and how that helps you, be able to merge some of your new photos with your older photos. I think that's a huge benefit. I want to give a quick tutorial on how you can put some things on pause. If you're concerned about your automations on Poshmark, let's talk about what I'm going to do is I'm going to go. So if you're like, hey, I have run some delist, scheduled automated delist relist, but I kind of want to put that on hold right now until we get more information and understand, how to proceed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all my items. I'm in the inventory tab. I've selected all my items, right? And then I go to the main actions down on the bottom, and so I'm going to click on the delist relist 1034 items, and I'm going to select all my platforms, and I'm going to click on the schedule frequency checkbox. And if the schedule frequency is set to 0 and you confirm your selection and accept it, it will basically set any scheduled delist relist that you have to 0. So that means you will no longer have any scheduled delist relists. And that maybe give you some peace of mind for the time being. Now, if you were like, I am not paranoid, but like, I really just want to take a break from Poshmark sharing too. Although, like, we all know that like Poshmark kind of set the standard for Poshmark sharing. They even have their own Poshmark sharing. So not sure, if they're how they're going to be dealing with Poshmark sharing, because that's kind of like part of their whole thing. But if you're like, hey, I just want to take a break from this, that they're running because they're in, you've set them to run, right? Your everyday and your nightly sharing. And so if you want to put those on pause, all you have to do is right here. I'm gonna make this bigger. There's a pause button. You just hit the pause button, okay? And that makes your sharing inactive until you choose to activate them again. So there you go. All right. And just a little reminder to you that we have our beta test of our AI cross listing. Oops. And we would love to get your feedback. You know how that works. You can we have two ways to do it, right? Our AI cross listing, which basically fills in the categories for you when you're doing your cross listing. So it makes it a lot faster. We got a lot of feedback saying, hey, I don't want to have to do all this manual stuff, putting in all these manual categories and things like that. So can you make it easier? And we said, we can. And so like you can go and select it in the card view, right? I'm in the card view. And then if you want to just do one at a time, you just go into your listing and you can then, let's see here, autofill, right? Tell it to autofill to the platforms you want to autofill. And excuse me, and then it will do its magic, right? It's autofilling. It takes about 5 to 7 seconds per platform. And then when the little action pending bubble stops is when you'll know that it's done with its autofill. So then when it's done with this autofill, you go on each of your things, you make sure everything's correct. And if you want to you would have to put in the hashtags. It doesn't put in hashtags for you. So that's how you can do it one by one. If you were like, hey, I want to do these in bulk, that's fine too. All you have to do, let's see here, is you can use the fast list. So you click on in the inventory tab, you click on the fast list button, and I'm going to search those items, select those items, and then say, hey, I want to autofill these 3 items, right, onto Mercari and Poshmark. And then it does its magic. It takes about 5 to 7 seconds per platform. And you can see it's kind of like putting in all the stuff. And then you just have to scroll down, right? It's still, it has to finish the flashing bubbles. And you just go and you just make sure everything's okay, right? And if you need to put in like the original price for Poshmark, save that change before you launch anything. And then when you're ready to launch, you just tell it to list these 3 items, right? And so there's a couple ways, to approach your cross listing. You can do with the AI autofill. You can do it one by one, or you can do it in bulk, and that's in the fast list view. One by one is in the card view, and so the card view is just your normal view that you first see in your inventory, but the fast list view, right, is a way to do things in bulk. So looking forward to, your feedback on that. And I hope that you guys will let me know where you stand on the image on a model generation thing, because it seems like it's a very controversial. And so I can see both sides. I can see it from a business owner side, or a professional, a reselling professional side, and I can see the other side of the coin. But I'm really curious as to what you guys think. So let me know in the comments. Let us know on our Reddit forum. You can even send us an email to contact@treecat.io. And so we look forward to hearing from you about that. And check out, our new AI cross listing, and let us know what you think about that. And guys, with that being said, I want to wish you guys a great weekend. And we'll see you next Saturday talking about more fun e-commerce, reselling topics. All right. Take care and mahalo.